So I'm going to make a new player account, a new player account guide. Uh, we will start with, let's go with units to raise. You have a team here. You start with Vanguards. You get Myrtle from DP recovery or Vanguard plus healing. You get Texas from the pin board, and you can get more from crowd control plus melee, I believe, or crowd control plus DP recovery. They're rarer, but I managed to get 5 copies somehow, so they're not that rare. Enos I also raised, but she's not a Vanguard. I know she says she's a Vanguard, but she is a low cost crowd control. She's an agent. She costs a little bit amount and she generates DP, so they put her in the Vanguard tag, but she is here for other utility. She's a good unit, but she's not a Vanguard. Guards, early on, I raised Midnight because he hits air and he has a decent chunk of HP. Moose was actually good early on, but I didn't get her past E1. Um, you do want some range guards like Midnight. I got Thorns, Kubai, Silver Ash. I got Kubai and Silver Ash very early on, so I didn't raise the lower rarity. Arene or Lapland are also good choices. I got from the selectors or whatever from the distinctions, Mountain, Surtur, Blaze, and I recently raised La Pluma. I also raised Tequila for the base, and I beat for the base, but that's not something you should do per se. I just did it because I was upset I couldn't get melee. Moving on. Cardigan, very good unit. She's basically HP, a lot more HP than Midnight. Block 3. She has a healing skill, which is whatever, but her defense is kind of middling. She's mainly HP, so she can survive a lot if you get some healers on her. I also raised Quora as a core defender. Yummy. And then I got Saria from the shop. I pulled the Blemish Shine and I pulled the Mudrock, so we're going to use these. Mudrock is good. I would recommend getting her if you can, but yeah. Snipers, I got Cruz and I raised Meteor early on. May would be better, but this was really early on and I hadn't gotten May yet, so we went with Meteor. But then after that, I early pulled an Archetto and we went with that. That's the 2 snipers you should go with, which is Cruz and May. You can get a charity if you get Insider or if you get Cruz the Keen Glint, which should be in the record restore in a couple months. I would probably go with that over May. I picked up a Posey, but that was pretty much after I cleared all the levels. I got Exercise after I cleared all the levels, and Typhoon after I cleared all the levels. Good operators, not sure how you get them. Fartooth has been useless. Moving on. Casters. Stewart obviously he's got a good base skill and he's a good caster for single target for low rarity. I would not raise any of the AoEs like Lava. I would instead go with the chain casters like Perfumer and Astagen and Passenger. I've never tried Lazy. But Pudding is very easy to raise. I would recommend her as a first E2 because you can get her materials from the the IS2 milestone level 5 shop. She'll have almost all her materials except for the RMA. RMA is like 660 sanity on the chapter 2 boss. That's what I did. I got her up in 3 days, then I could have E2 borrows. If you get an E1, you can borrow E1 units. If you get an E2, you can borrow E2 units. Getting your first E2 is very important, and she was very easy to be as a first E2. I got Asia from the shop. I spent a lot of pulls on Golden Glow. I put 120. I would recommend getting her from the shop. She comes in the shop in a few days, or probably like 6 weeks. I don't know. It should be in August. I'm confused. Okay, it's about 6 months. She'll be in the shop. Caster, medics. Medics are a silly thing. You have single target medics and you have AoE medics. I didn't raise Angel as a single target medic because he's cheap and he hits 2 targets sometimes. And I raised Perfumer because she's amazing. She has global range. I got Flopsis from the 5-star selector. either Flopsis or Lapland are probably who should pick up, since I already got Lord Guards from my I picked up Silver Ash as my starter 6-star, so I went with the AoE medic. She's been very good. I definitely recommend getting Flopsis. Single target medics, since there's Lumen and Aya, I would not recommend them. You could use a burst medic like Susuro, but I've got Flopsis as my burst medic. They give you a silence as one of the selectors you could have picked up. Yeah. But really all you need is AoE medics and the Lumen. And I guess Aya if you can get her. And Ansel if you ever need another medic. Here we have supporters. Orchid for just having a slow supporter, Razor. The rest, there were a few maps that were calling for, and guides that were calling for Angelina. I used Estina instead, and she worked. Any of the Decel binders like Proviso or Glaucus, I don't know about Glaucus. Glaucus's damage is more on skill than anything. Podenko, those are your slow supporters. For Spirit's not a really good slow supporter. But yeah, I would recommend raising Orchid and probably a second slow supporter. Specialists, Gravel, Thermal, and Gladia. Gladia is free. I guess Shock could be E1 too. If you have any of the limiteds like Kieran or Texas, they are definitely a raise. Spectre Altar, but these are all limiteds and you probably won't get them, so we have to do without them. Know what they do in case you want to borrow one, but that's about it. I grabbed a Project Red, I think, from the selector instead of Silence, and never raised her because I got Kieran. Anyway, those are my units. I would recommend again Texas and Myrtle, Midnight, and get some big guards from the Distinction Shop. We'll go over that later. Cardigan, Gummy, Quora, and get Saria from the Distinction Shop. Cruz and May, or Insider, or Cruz the Clean Gun. And if you can get some big ones, maybe. Stewart, Amia, Pudding, and buy A from the shop. Ansel, Perfumer, Philopsis, and Lumen. Orchid and a slow supporter of ideally rarity 5. If you get something better, go ahead. But I'm not gonna say you try to get something better. Visa would probably be best, but I got her early and I went with her. She works. Gravel, Jaw, Gladia, Thermal. And if you get a second one like Project Red, Waifu, or one of the big ones, then yes. I raised Dorothy as a ranged crowd control unit. I did her recently, and I haven't really used her. She's good, but I wouldn't recommend getting her. Unit-wise, if you go into units, you have the banners. You have the regular banners. This one actually doesn't count. You have the regular banners like this. They have all the operators that are not limited. Up to Fartooth, I believe, is in the shop on a rotational schedule. So actually, we're on Flametail. So Gnosis should be soon. Then Lee, then Golden Glow. Should I pick up Gnosis when he comes out? You could. He's a good arts damage unit for support, which means a good cycle, and he's not the worst thing to do. He might help. I I would definitely save for Golden Glow if you don't have enough for both. And I'd probably use, if you're new and you go swing from the kernel. Kernel wise, again, these guys are in the shop on a rotation. All of them are in the shop, and you can set one every 3 months or so. So they're easy to get, whoever you want. So I would recommend picking up an Aya, a Saria, and a Blaze. Those are the three I feel are the most crucial here. Of the standard operator ones that you should shoot for. Thorns, if you don't get them off the starter banner. Mudrock, Surtur, Mountain, yeah, Mudrock, Surtur, Mountain. So Thorns, Mudrock, Surtur, Mountain. And forget these distinctions. You see a banner, you see units you want on it, you pull. It doesn't really matter what, you'll get distinctions. You also get distinctions from recruitment. Here I'm just doing regular recruitment, so there's nothing good here, but if you know the combo tags, you can get a lot of distinctions that way. It's a knowledge thing. I managed to get, I believe, Mountain, Thorn, Surtur, and Aya. Sorry from the shop. Blaze was, I guess I got Blaze from, I got a bunch of units from the shop. I think it was like 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have enough for one more now. So it might have been 7 by now, which is a lot, but this is just doing polls and doing proper recruiting. It seems like a lot, but I didn't. I did all the stages. I got all the I got all the prime, and I spent all my pulls. Haven't pulled on very much since, so I've started to reaccrue. But yeah, the point is, you should be shooting for a team, and you can get the high rarity by well, you see, you got a banner, you have a list of units you want. If there's 2 6-stars in the banner, you pull. If you don't get the 6-star, you get someone. So there's a 50% chance of getting one of these two, and that'll save you 180. And if you don't, you can at least get the distinctions you can buy. You should not pull on this banner because this banner does not give distinctions. That means this is effectively this is like 480 a random per pull, but they charge you 600 because it doesn't give you distinctions. So it is worse. It's got good units in it, but I would recommend just getting the distinctions and pulling it that way because that is at least discounted to the proper amount. All right, so that's the units to pull. Now there's the play. We have the UI, I guess we go with. We have a bunch of things here. The terminal. It's got your last stage played. It's got your IS or whatever active stuff. It's got the chapter story thing, current chapter for the main story, and then it's got the button on the left for the event that's currently up, which is Divine of Strife. We're not going to worry about that. This is if you want to play an old story stage, you can go back. This is the old events. You've got another tab over here. There's between intermezzi and side story. As intermezzi is like a main plot, right? These are important. These are so important that right after the event ends the first time, it goes to the tab. It's like Lone Trail has not had a rerun yet, but it's still here. Side story events they go here after the rerun. So if you're playing an event for the first time and you can't clear it, if it's a rerun, don't worry about it. The stages will go here. If it's not a rerun, they will go here after the rerun that happens a year later. There are plenty of old events. They all give you 1 OP for clearing the stage, plus an extra OP for the challenge mode of the harder stages. All told is quite a few pulls or skins. You have the supply stages. They're open on a schedule that is annoying. You never have to run the resource blocks. And I ran them a few times, to unlock everything to craft, and then we're not going to worry about them. They're for building your base, but your base only needs so many blocks, and after that, you only need blocks for nothing, except maybe feeding the deer. The skill books, very useful, but reruns tend to give me enough that I don't really need them. XP tickets and should never be run. LMD, with the advent of modules, I am falling behind, but on a properly built base, before they had the modules to LMD sync, you don't need either of these. If you're running either of these, your base needs to be worked on. Chips are for promoting your units, and Tough Siege mainly is for use for, it goes to the shop, the red shop, where you can buy units, buy chip catalyst for promoting your units, and module data blocks for modules, which I have not needed to purchase on this account because I only raised the units that I was going to use. There's also a potential for casters and defenders here if you really wanted to spend an ungodly amount of time farming these things. All right, so what was I going with? Finally, where were we? Terminal. We finished this. Terminal, we've got SSS, which is for modules. It gives you module blocks. I only run this once every reset, first clear, because you're hard gated by where's the word? Oh. If you want to promote a unit for module, you are gated by stuff you can grow, but this stuff here is what you earn in the event in that thing. These two things, therefore going for level 2 and 3, but you're hard graded by these things. And again, I've got 104, which is plenty. But you only really need level 1 most of the time. Sometimes you need level 2. Level 3 is just the flex. It's like E290 versus E260. On promoting your guys, what I normally did when I started, E140, and then the 3 stars went to E155, and then the 4 stars that I was going to promote to E2 went to E260 and then E2. And then I started working on other units. But the 4, 5, and 6 stars go to E2, E140 for a while, and then you promote them. It's just an LMD save. I promoted them to E230 at the early part of the game. And then later I started going to E260 because that's where the modules kick in. Whatever the module level is, in E250 for 5 stars and E240 for 4 stars. That's just to save money. You don't need to go past that. It costs the same amount of resources to E290 one guy as to E262 6 stars. So it's a real significant slowdown to go past E260. E230 was even better, but again, you get stats for every level, and resource-wise, by the way, they give you resources for doing IS. If you do IS, there are 3 years of events here, because this has been running for a while. You get all the rewards for the milestones, you get all the rewards for the monthly squads, and all these rewards are still here if you wanted to do the older events for, there's 155 levels here, plus 8 monthly squads, plus deep investigation. And then we got 170 levels here, plus monthly squads and deep exploration, which again is a huge amount of XP and LND for a new player. You could end up with like 8 E230s, And so that's the big slow. So as long as you can do these, and that's a different guide, you can definitely do these. Quick guide. This one you borrow a Thorns. This one you borrow a Texas Altar. And this one I clear a floor. I cleared a floor 3, and then I come back and I borrow La Pluma and Calcit, and I can normally, and I try to get some anti-air. But I didn't do that one at a low level. The other two at a low level. This one I was after 6 months, so I already had my team. Back to what we're doing. We're in this tab. The other tab here, we got this thing is very confusing looking. People have been confused by this. This is the less confusing list, okay? Right now we have the active mission and these missions. You first start on Chernobog, then you go Lungmen outskirts, then you go Lungmen downtown, and then you do the active mission. These down here, they only exist for first clear reward, so you only want to do them if you can do 400. If you do 400 kills on these, you'll get basically I think 2 chip glue and a pole and a half. So it's definitely worth running them, and some materials, but they aren't. They're harder than this Lingman downtown, and so you should definitely work on Lingman downtown or you'd be frustrated. If you work on the active one, it'll get your cap up to 1,800 a week. This is like 1,200 before you do any of these. This one brings it up to 1,500, and that's 1,600, 1,700, I think. But and then the 1,800 for the rotating one. But these do not increase your cap. They are varying difficulty because they're whatever they want to be. But you should do them, but they're not important. Also know that if you quit out of a thing improperly by closing the app, it counts as a retreat with 0 kills, and therefore you get all your sanity refunded. There is no practice mode, so you can do that instead. Over here, integrated strategies I already went over because I don't know, I got distracted. We've got the old CC tab. Main thing to note here is you can pick up some things. Mainly, you can pick up a copy of. Let's see, what we got a copy of Bybeak, Kuye, Scene, and is that the 3 we've got here? Arato. You can pick up a copy of those if you want them. I also apparently picked up some tokens. I think I got a token for Texas. I'm not sure why I got a 5-star supporter token, and I got a token for Yato Altar. Uh, the, the Vanguard tokens and the Specialist tokens, if you have fast redeploys, make sense. I don't know what I use this for. Why I got this, I don't know. Did I even use it? I must have. I didn't. I used it on something. Back to tabs. That's it. You can earn this stuff by these rotating maps. It doesn't get you very much, but it's not very hard. When they do the new season, there'll be ways to earn more of this, but the stuff will all change. So this shop is gone, and it's a new shop at a different rate, but it's still in there. Finally, what to buy in the shop. We're going to pay cash. There are 2 things you would buy, which is the monthly card, which is 7 OP, 200 OP a day, a random a day, and an 80 sanity a day booster for 30 days. It's not a month, it's 30 days. Or you can pay $30 twice a year during limited events. There's 4 of them a year, and 2 of them have a selector pack for $30 that give you a 10 pole and a 6-star of your choice from the non-limited pool up to the last pack. So about something, if a unit released 6 months ago, you can get it for $30. So you should never have a banner like this. Like if I really wanted Inez, and if I was going to have to spend money, you shouldn't spend money. You should just wait until the selector pack where you can just pay $30 and pick her up. It's not worth it to pull in this banner for that reason. If you're using cash, it's worth it to pull in this banner if you're using the in-game free resources, but you should not be spending cash to pull in a banner like this because you can just spend $30 in a few months to get Horn or Enos or whatever you want. Like my account could really use Milnar because I borrow him all the time, but I'm not going to spend money to buy him because it would be cheaper just to spend the $30. This is an example. It's just if you were going to spend money. You don't need to spend money. I haven't spent any money on this account. Moving on. Tabs wise. Okay, we got packs. These are not worth buying unless you, I don't know, whale territory. Again, those are the only two things worth buying with cash. Outfits, they tend to rerun all the time. We're not going to talk about them. There are outfits that cost 15, outfits cost 18, outfits cost 21 and 24. The 15 ones are just basic outfits. The 18 ones have more effects. The 21 ones are live 2D, and the 24 ones have live 2D plus new voice lines. Obviously, you buy them if they look cool. We're not going to talk about that. We have these these shop tabs. These are the free shops. This is the commendation shop and the distinction shop. You get these with pulse. The green one is important. You want to try to get the first level and the second level every time. Don't worry about the third level because we're not going there. If you do that, it's 2,700 to clear out the first level plus this much. After that, you can consider buying some materials if they'll speed on your growth. I just like to leave 2,700 for the next month. Every time there's a limited event, they give you 24 free pulls plus a bunch of other pulls. So you will build up this currency even if you're free to play, if you know how to do the recruitment. Certificate shop. Things to buy here are the 6-star operators. They do have the 5-star operators if you really want. They're rarely worth it, but maybe. Like if you bought Flopsis or Lapland or Warfrin or others, maybe. La Pluma. The main thing to buy here, the headhunting permits are 256 or 258 for the whole set. That gets you 38 pulls. You can buy the 6-star, which I've done a lot on this account. Very worthwhile. You can buy the either side. You should not be buying chip catalysts, module blocks, any of this stuff. This stuff is not worth buying. So it's only just these three things here: the 6-star or the headhunting permit set. You only buy the headhunting permit set if you're going to buy them all. This is similar, but it's only the whatever, and you need to use the blues for it. And the rate of getting the blues just makes this. You'd have to do an ungodly amount of pulls. It's not worth it math-wise. Just buy them with distinctions. This shop, we've got units, we've got chip catalysts, we've got more units. These are 5 stars, and we've got module data block. As a new account, I haven't needed to buy module data blocks. My account that's been running for years and is raising everything. Module data blocks he's been buying because again, it's the same for sanity, something to farm for. It's not really that much, but it's also a lot. If you've got a waifu and you want to raise her to full potential, you need these things. But I haven't been buying them. The main thing you buy is the chip catalyst, so you can promote to E2, and then some units. I've got one copy of Honeyberry, and these guys I did not get Quantiplet for Breeze. You do get as if you recruited a 4-star from pulling these things, so you can get greens from this and yellows from this. But mainly, I only really use pudding. I haven't raised Ethan or Quartz. I just got one copy, so I would get the distinction and get another unit for my base. This stuff is just free resources. There's a chart somewhere from what you should get. Normally, I just use this when I need something. You get this from pulling on a limited banner, and I haven't really pulled on a limited banner, but you do get 24 free pulls. So yeah, this is a rerun shop. It's got lots of nice things. You won't have to pay any attention to this because you can't get any of this currency until you've been playing for over a year and you get your first rerun where you've already done the first event. And if you do, you're normally just buying the Arundum because there is 400 times 100, so it's 40,000 Arundum in there. You need to clear out first before you can get everything else. If you've been playing since year one, this stuff is all gone because you've already done everything. But if you haven't been playing, this shop is not important. If you're wondering how to get this stuff, though, it's you do a rerun. You've already done the real rent. You get this for duplicate furniture and duplicate furniture. I think is all it is. It's nice stuff. It's stuff that would be really nice early on, but you can't get any of it. So that's all. So again, in short, this shop, 2,700 every month. You clear out through here. And if you have anything extra on top of that, you can buy materials. This shop, 6 stars, or this, you might want to get a 4-star, but you shouldn't buy anything else. Ignore chip catalyst, heavy module blocks, and units, particularly pudding. Anything you want, and ignore. That's about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, modules. Modules are a cash sink, but the reason why 4 stars are bad, 5 stars are bad per se, is you have a decent 4-star like Quora and a 5-star like, I don't know, Croissant. They do the same role, but for the same cost of resources, you can raise Quora and get her module, and now she'll have the stats more or less of a 5-star, and the cost of a 4-star plus the module. I mean, it's easier to get her. So I mean, I think the resources are about the same, but since it's easier to get the 4-star, then that's why people don't raise their 5 stars. There are 5 stars worth raising, as obvious. I said Texas because she's easy to get. La Pluma, Lapland, Flopsis. I'm considering raising Croissant because I do not have a 6-star core defender. Not a fan of Astrogen. Warfarin, a 5-star slow supporter, I would say, because again, it's better. She hits more target. They're better. Podenko works, but I don't like the 4-star slow supporters. And I guess maybe these because if you really needed 2 fast redeploys, grabbing a second one, you Kafka, Project Red, whatever, just because some maps do want you to have 2 of them. I didn't because I got Kieran. You don't really need 2 pushers or 2 pullers. All right. So that was my thoughts. Oh, one more thing. You should raise a few units for the base. You get an additional skill as a unit. A 2-star gets a new unit, a new skill at a 1 or 2-star gets a new unit at E130 or E030. A 3 or a 4-star gets a new skill at E1, and a 5 or 6-star gets a new skill at E2. It is not worth raising 5 or 6 stars just for their base skill, but there are a number of 3 and 4 stars you should raise. Number wise, you should raise for the base. I raised Fang for IS2, IS integrated strategies. I also raised Courier because I needed 2 block Vanguards early on. I don't see anything there that's important. Base wise, Floss Leaf here, Forts, Matamaru. I think even Jackie, but she was more for. So I don't use it. I use it. Kioston said she was needed for for CC, the last CC, which I ran. I tried her. She didn't work for me. Uh, uh, Conviction should be raised. I haven't done it yet. Um, yeah, basically Frostleaf. And these four here, yes. Uh, Spot. I don't know if Gummy gets a skill at whatever. I definitely raise her regardless. Um, Stewart has a 25% factory skill. Hayes, I thought, no, I guess you don't need to raise her. Moving on. Pure Stream. 9-color DR is a nice factory skill. Fizo has a nice factory skill, but this doesn't need to be raised. She's a good workshop skill. She has a good trading post skill, which she does need to be raised for. I haven't gotten to it yet. Gravel. I think she needs this to be raised for her skill. I also see people do their base when they manage their base. Mine's a standard 2-4-3 setup. I've had no problem raising my guys. I don't see any point in doing anything more complicated than a standard 2-4-3 setup. Fully maxed everything. People get really, really micro about it, but with IS2, integrated strategies, monthly rewards, and all the other rewards, I don't see that massive need for the base to be better than that. You click the overview, you click like this, you can see all your things to be slotted. You pull people off. I see people do things like they go into a base. These people here, these people need to be replaced. You click this, they just click people on the side. That's not a great way of doing it because wind chimes here. I don't know what the hell her skill does. So I wouldn't recommend doing that with wind chimes. I would instead, go and get some people with a basic skill and just use them. I should have waited for these guys to come back. For some reason, I hadn't put the other ones in. There are issues here. Don't worry about it. But basically, make sure that you are putting in people who are not idiotic. Like here, I've got Vigna. Vigna is an XP only factory bonus. So the factory she's on should be working on XP. You should not put Vigna in a factory that works gold. It won't help. You could be putting anyone in a factory that works gold and be just as helpful as Vigna. That's a pet peeve of mine, but yeah, it's a standard 2-4-3. Make sure the people in your factory doing XP are working on XP. Do not put a gold person in a factory that works on XP. Do not put a person in the trading post that does not trade. That's about it. You do whatever you want. It should be fine. It'll just hinder your progress and things will take longer. But the base, if you work on it the way I'm working on it, I make about 30,000 XP a day and about 40,000 LMD a day. Well, I guess I get about more LMD because I'm actually working a deficit. You get more from the every month from the green search shop, so I can work at a bit of a deficit. But yeah,